And this is why I'm glad you all were able to have the complainant to come in and talk, because I wanted to know what was going on that night. But my issue is we have this incident that we're here for today, where I'm sure, based upon his actions, the affair, having children, then, as you said, counsel, springing it on the family, and they're supposed to be accepting of these other people. So I'm sure it was heated arguments on both sides. I'm sure the telephone call was a heated phone call. And I understand that. But here's my issue. He goes there. The son is outside. Nobody's presented any information to the court that the son threatened him. I'm sure they had a heated conversation, and that is why, based upon the testimony that the son said, where your client was just one moment. But his son is driving away and is fired upon. Again, I understand that everything is heated. But then he goes to therapy, which was the evidence that was presented to the court. And I have the certificate. I've read it. Great. That means that he's addressing the issue. If that were all there was of the evidence, it would be an easy decision for me to make based upon the testimony that I've heard. But after he finishes with therapy and he gets a certificate, he puts a tracker on his ex's vehicle. That's an issue. And it seems that he's not letting go.
Could I address that?
Sure. And that's what I want you all to address. And I'm just telling you all what my issues are. And now I'll hear arguments from both sides, and you all can address that. And if anybody wants to call some.
Anthony is a 56-year-old man. He's 2 years younger than me. He's a flawed man. Like most of us, we all have details at different degrees. Mm-hmm. He's flawed in the sense of regulating his emotions. I think we feel after talking with the family and getting to know Anthony a little bit more, it kind of stems from his childhood with his mother. Not having a solid place for him to go, so he was moved and shuffled around. His sweet Uncle Joe that you met yesterday, he would try to step in a little bit. He has his own family and he was running his own air conditioning business. But when he could have Anthony over, and he would spend some weekends and a few weeks sometimes when he was a child, he would take him out and do the kind of fatherly things that he has. I've raised 4 boys, and I know how important a father is to boys. And if you're absent of that, it will cause some problems. Some guys stomach it up and put their bootstraps and become solid men, but not everybody.
But my question then would be, at what point, because I'm sure everyone has some trauma in their past.
Sure.
At what point do his actions become his own?
They're his actions, Judge. And I'm not throwing the typical defense. Oh, it's because he had a troubled child.
Oh, no.
I'm just trying to, a lot of times when I take we've been practicing together for a long time, right? And as criminal practitioners, we sometimes have some evil people that we address, and you see them in court all the time. And sometimes we have good people that just do some crazy things that they would not do. And a lot of times we're trying to figure out, why did this good person get to this point to do this? Mm-hmm. Because he's not somebody who's got a history of, this has been a surprise, right? To his family, to his son, mm-hmm. to himself. And it's because he had a mental snap, because he doesn't have that foundation that a lot of us had by being raised by good family members and having a solid life and going to college and doing all that stuff. Not everybody has that life, right? And here's a guy who's been struggling himself, desperately wanting to have a family. He found it with Carrie. He's raising 2 boys. He's teaching them how to play baseball. He's one of those active fathers. There's a lot of fathers that have kids and they don't do nothing with them. He's active with them. He loves them. He's flawed now. He has an affair with some woman. She gets pregnant. She has 2 of his kids. He doesn't introduce that. That's a big flaw, but that's not what he's here for that. But this is all part of what's swimming around in his mind and in his heart. And he doesn't have the tools. This happens. The son, they're all mad, and they putting hands on each other on past things. He's already invited them. You want to do something? So this is already getting to the point of some possible violence, and then he's frustrated because he desperately wants his family to just accept the two girls, which is not a realistic thing, but in his childish kind of emotional way of thinking, I just want my family to be together because that's what he wants. So it comes from a good place, but how he is not able to regulate his emotions, he snapped. And he did something that he would have never done. If we would have thought that, oh, this is a self-defense case, this is not this is an imperfect self-defense case, and that's why we're pleading. He's taken responsibility. He knows that what he did was absolutely bonkers. I've seen him cry with snots coming out of his nose because of how deeply he feels that he's hurt his son. So now we're here, and this happens. And hats off to SAPD, Chief McManus, who was my captain when I was a police officer in DC. Chief McManus, they showed up to Anthony's house, and they were trying to make a decision with SWAT. Do we go in and grab this guy? And when Aunt Sarah came and they asked some questions, and then they looked at his background, they figured out, okay, this is not one of them guys that we need to go in there and kick the door down and possibly shoot. He's not somebody who's like a gang member. This is a good guy who's had a snafu. And let's just wait and we'll pick him up a few days later. So hats off for them for doing that. They don't do that in every case, but they did it in this case, because he was telling them on the police report, shoot me. He had snapped. He knew that he had done something that he couldn't even believe that he did. He didn't even know where it came from. So finally, he gets arrested. We put him through therapy, the first therapy that he's ever had in his life. And just because he's in therapy doesn't mean that he's cured. This is going to take a long time, but he's learning the tools. His family starts to see that, he's changing. He's not like impulsively getting mad whenever he's being like a normal person. He's figuring things out. He knows that he had to make a change. And if you've read in the PSI when the probation officer asks him all these questions, it's the same thing that he said to them back then. He's saying it now. He knows that his wife Carrie is like the key holder to possibly having the other sons accept him back, or not ever like they used to be. They're never going to be the same family again, but to at least not alienate him so much. And so he foolishly, without my knowledge, because this was just popped on me yesterday morning, that he put a thing on there so that he could maybe run into her and try to talk with her which is foolish. But it's all with the reasoning that he's just trying to get his family back. I think that if you were to even give him a chance and you do it, you can customize this to actually maybe help him with his progression. He's progressing. Put strict no contact with Carrie too, even though she's not a complainant in this case. We're going to put it on Carrie, on Brandon, and on AJ. No contact, a zero tolerance. You even cough in the wrong direction, you are going to prison. Because right now he's building a relationship with his daughters, who he's just recontacted with in the last 3 years. Went to their quinces. He pays child support. He's got a good job. He's living alone and he's figuring his life out. I think that we sometimes, as criminal practitioners, we can help people achieve something, and it doesn't happen in every case, but it's really nice when we see people that we haven't seen that have been in the court system and they changed their life around, and it's nice to be a part of that. I think that we can have that happen in Anthony's case. His son is open to giving him a chance. He knows his father's never done anything like this. SAPD handled it the way that I think they should have, because they knew that he's not like an ongoing threat. I say, let's give him a chance, and that's our hope, that you can consider that. But whatever your decision is your decision, and we respect it.
Okay. And Mr. Blackmore, I want you to know, whenever you go to judges school, you know what they tell you? Don't say anything on the record. That's it. That's not me, right? And the reason why I say certain things is because it's happening mentally, and I want those issues to address. And I never want attorneys to leave without addressing an issue that I may have to address my concerns. Because otherwise, it's sort of like when you have a jury trial and you do a closing argument to a jury and you think, hey, this is what everybody should be concentrating on. And then when they come back with the verdict, you find out, no, the whole thing to them was about a blue shirt or something. So that's why I will always ask questions, because those are the things that I want addressed. So you're having an affair, that's not really going into the court's consideration, oh, you should go to prison, or you should not go to prison. That's just something for me to consider about everything that was going on that night, like why tempers were the way they were. So I just wanted you to know that. Okay? All right, and I'm hearing everything and listening to everything and listening to everybody's arguments, okay? And I'm internalizing everything that everyone is saying, because I'm trying to understand the point now with regards to the charges against you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
All right, if you want to say something, you're still under oath.
You know, I upset my son and my other son not wanting to have my wife, and I'm sure she's going to divorce me. And I said, they don't want nothing to do with me no more now. If I could have a chance to raise my daughters, at least, I'll walk that straight line, man. You'll never see me. I would do whatever you require me to do. I built a good life working. I'm a hard worker, man. I really am. I've done stupid things.
But see, here's the thing. My major concern with you
Yes, ma'am.
is, well, one of the concerns is putting the tracker on the vehicle after therapy. And what I can tell you, many times when relatives will come in and testify,
Yes.
and I can see that your son loves you, right? I don't think anybody thinks he doesn't love you.
Tim, tremendous.
And I always tell loved ones and relatives who come testify, because they're always like, oh my gosh, did I say something wrong? Am I the reason this person is going to prison or not going to prison? And I would always tell them, no, you're just there to give information. So everyone is here to give information to me so I can make what I deem to be the best decision. And what I can tell you, what I'm grappling with you is, you know, that your wife, or soon to be ex-wife, that you're going through a divorce with, she doesn't want anything to do with you anymore. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears on that night, she didn't want anything to do with you. And if that would have been it, where she doesn't want anything to do with you, this happened, I hear all the evidence, and there's no tracker on her vehicle, then I would not be taking that into consideration as some of the evidence. But it appears there's issues with you with no contact. You understand?
I won't have any contact with him then.
All right. And then, do you have any questions of him?
No questions, but I may have a 2-minute.
Yes, I'll hear your argument.
You're
I
right.
object to that.
Okay.
I understand and I appreciate the fact that it seems like the defendant has had a troubled life. And it's upsetting, but he's 56 years old. At some point, he needs to be responsible for his own actions. And I understand tempers were high that night. Emotions were high that night. But to get to the point where he's going to fire a shotgun at his son, when all he could have done, step away, come back inside, or just called the police saying, I feel threatened by my son's presence here. I need help. Could have been a lot different. We wouldn't be here today. But to go forward with that shotgun blast and have it impact the vehicle where his son was at, after all that, he puts the tracker on the vehicle. Very concerning, very upset. Because of his actions that I think he's held accountable and responsible for, state does not feel that he is an appropriate candidate for deferred.
All right. And how old are your daughters?
18 and the other one just turned 16 a couple of days ago.
All right. This is what, and mind you, I'm taking everything in consideration in my sentence. This is what the court is going to do. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. The court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. There's to be no contact with Anthony